Hey, gorgeous. Welcome to season 3 of the Hormone Puzzle Podcast. I'm your host, Coach Kayla Smith, CEO of the Hormone Puzzle Society, a women's health hub for fertility, hormones, and pregnancy, an integrative, holistic nutritionist, doctor of natural medicine and training, creator of the Hormone Puzzle Method, an infertility warrior, 2-time boy mom, and women's health expert. This podcast is for women struggling with infertility, painful periods, terrible PMS, or really just any symptoms of hormone imbalance that they are ready to eliminate for good. Tune in weekly as we interview amazing experts in the field of women's health, breaking down those hormone walls, nerding out on nutrition, and having way too much fun. Whether you're beginning your journey or you've been struggling for years, we're going to finally help you put those pieces of your hormone puzzle back together so that you can get pregnant and eliminate those pesky symptoms for good. Not to mention, stay pregnant, have a healthy super baby, and easy postpartum. Are you ready? This season is packed with even more expert guests, sharing groundbreaking knowledge, giving you that jolt of energy that you so desperately need, sending you lots of virtual hugs, and inspiring you to take your fertility into your own hands and make that baby. Thank you all so much for tuning in and being amazing listeners. So now let's get started on your road to transformation. On today's show, we have Sabrina Vedete Elmaliah, who is the founder of Sacred Lotus Yoni Steam, a leading brand in herbal wellness. She is a vaginal steam therapist, sensual arts guide, and published writer committed to healing the wombs of the divine feminine for children to birth into this life free of trauma. Her work is Yoni centric and focuses on healing deep wounds to release ecstatic bliss. She is a sermonologist who shares the benefits of ancient women's medicine traditions through sacred ritual, temple dance, and nature therapy to unblock our passion and purpose with private clientele in workshops and retreats around the world. Today, we are talking all about Yoni steaming, which is steaming of the vagina, and it's a sacred ritual. And we want to really learn what this is and how it can help with your biggest fertility issues and just really tonifying and honoring and optimizing our wombs. So now let's welcome Sabrina to our show. Hey, Sabrina, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. It is an honor to be here today.
And I would love to just hear a little more about you. Tell us how you started working in women's health and with herbs and with Yoni steaming.
Well, how much time do you have?
Yeah.
I, have had a deep connection and relationship with herbs and the natural world since I was very young. I have memories recalling of feeling connected to different plants and flowers and, animal spirits. And so really growing up in that space of connectedness to wonder and nature. And it was really when I had a few profound experiences in my life, which I know everyone can relate to when something shifts and you know that the world will never be the same again. I had 2 of those shifts. One of them happened with my best friend. She was a victim really of cervical cancer, and, passed away after a hard battle at 26. And it was really going through with the chemo and with all of these surgeries and all of these different things that we were trying. Anytime we heard of something like that could possibly, heal or heal or cure cancer, for that was natural or otherwise. She went through it and she tried, and her death left such a profound impact on me because I realized that she wasn't seen or taken care of in the health system. It was like she was slipped through the cracks, and it didn't feel like she had the fairest chance. And that just really woke me up to saying, like, wow, this is a medical system. This is and people are numbers. And if you don't know about your health, no one else is going to be there for you. Like, you got to be the one to know what's going on with your body. You got to be the one to know how to at least try to heal yourself. And so that really separated me so strongly from a lot of the different philosophies of the allopathic medical system, and really created a commitment in me to begin to search to take care of myself. Like, what's going on with me? What's going on with my period? What's going on with my blood and the way that I feel, and the way that I'm, supposed to feel versus what's actually going on, and what does all of this mean? And so in that quest of opening myself up to really the feminine mysteries, which should be things that we were taught from a very young age, but are now like mystic mysteries,
right?
Of like what happens when we bleed, and what our ovulation cycle means, and how do we even become pregnant, and what's the process, and fertility, and all of these mystical, feminine attributes. I was also at the time producing music festivals and traveling around the world and living out of backpacks and tents with my partner and dog, and coming down with a lot of urinary tract infections from probably not the cleanest shagging in tents, and and waking up the next day like, oh no, like this here again. And then knowing that when you have a urinary tract infection, there's no options, right? Like, you have to take antibiotics. Like, you're gonna die if you don't take antibiotics. Like, we all know that in the field. Like, UTI, get your bottom to the hospital, And so here I am, like, hippieing out with in a vegan lifestyle, with wearing bamboo clothes and taking antibiotics every other month for urinary tract infections, saying to myself, there has to be another way, So these were the two profound experiences that led me to not only view my connection to plants as a beautiful space in which I'm communing with the mother and divine creation, but as a space of, wow, this is medicine. This is healing, and my ancestors and all the women in my lineage before me, and the women of lineage around the world, have been utilizing the superpowers of plants and the magic and the medicine of plants to heal our womb, to heal our bodies, to heal our relationships and communities and families. And I felt that deep calling to walk this path and to open myself up to learning whatever the plants have to teach me about not only my own womb and the feminine, but how I can support others.
I love that. Beautiful. And I, like you, have such a calling from plants. I just feel like they're such powerful, underutilized, medicinal things, and they're beautiful. And so I love that you say that. Amazing. And so that's why I'm so excited we're talking about this today, because this is something I don't feel like a lot of women are aware of and taking advantage of. And that's the vaginal steaming, the Yoni steaming. And I learned about this, many years ago, and I just find that it's just beautiful. It's just a wonderful way to honor my vagina and to heal it and nurture it and tonify and all of it. So let's get into that. Tell us a little bit more about what is vaginal steaming? What is Yoni steaming?
Okay, this is, such a profound question, because it's really what I've built, not only my soul business, my soul aligned business around, but really in my soul mission for bringing plants to the people and remembering, right, our connection as women through plants, our connection as women sitting in circle, gathering together, sharing each other's stories, and being lifted up by each other, and adding in this sacred self-love ritual. So, yoni steaming is really a self-love, but also a self-health ritual, right? For just like we care about what we're putting in our body when we look at that food menu and we're going organic or non-GMO or making healthy choices for ourselves through exercising or through cleansing. Womb cleansing is a big part of that. And we don't know about it because many of us grew up in structured religions where we have been drilled into our minds that we cannot touch ourselves or know ourselves below the belly button. It's off limits to us.
Crazy.
It's just for someone else after we get married or
Right.
whenever we give it away, right? Like that, even just in the terminology of like giving our virginity away, like, okay, I'm just giving it all away now, and without even being able to have sovereignty in our womb and take ownership of our own health. And our health begins in the womb. And they say one of the vital life signs for a woman, it's our heartbeat, right? And it's our period. That is a vital life sign. If you are a woman that struggles with cramps and PMS or cysts and fibroids or quote unquote unexplained infertility, or any of these numerous imbalances that we're experiencing in our body, most likely it's coming from our womb. And and there's very little options in allopathic / Western medicine for healing. Most of our options are birth control or steroids. So like that's what is available to us. And many of us are told, oh, you have a 10-day, extremely painful period. You're throwing up and you're nauseous. You are breaking out in acne. You have fatigue, that's normal for you. That's just what it's like to be a woman. No, it's not. That's not what it's like to be a woman. Bleeding can be ceremonious and beautiful and psychic and connecting back into, your own highest self and to the womb of the mother. And so how do we gain that connection to our womb? That's the long-winded answer to what is yoni steaming.
I love it.
So this is a way that we can take back sovereignty over our health and clear and cleanse our womb from maybe even decades of bleeding, and create a sanctuary space in our body instead of a space of stagnation and pain. And so what yoni steaming is if you can imagine yourself making a tea to drink, right? And you're like, okay, I'm going to make myself a chamomile tea at night. So you put in your chamomile tea and you boil the pot and you drink that tea, and that drinking that liquid, that the essential oils from the plant have come off into the liquid and infused in the water. And now you're drinking it. And that's why you're going to receive that sense of relaxation that the chamomile flower provides. Now, if you can imagine yoni steaming, what we're doing is we're taking those herbs, we're putting them in that boiling pot of water, right? And we're putting a cap on the pot. So now all of this steam is building inside of the boiling pot of water while the essential oils from the plants are leaching out into the water and rising up into the steam. So now you have this very medicinal steam. And so you sit or squat over this pot of water with the steam. And what happens first is the steam hits our yoni, right? It hits our skin organ. And the first thing it does is, just like in a hot shower, it expands and opens our skin vessels, right? Like our blood vessels, right? The epidermal layer of our skin, right? So now our skin is open and it's able to receive the steam, and it's carried up into our womb space through our bloodstream, because our skin is a porous organ. It absorbs the steam, it absorbs the medicine from the steam, carries up into our blood, through our bloodstream, into our womb space, into our uterus, to bring that potent, healing, effective medicine to our body. So people might think like, what is the steam supposed to travel up my vaginal canal? How is it going to get there? You know, like that's a journey. It's going to be gone by the time it hits my womb. It's like, no, it's not going in that way. It's taking in through our skin. Our skin is drinking it in. It goes into the bloodstream. It rises up into the womb space. And that's why it's so effective and so efficient and so targeted. Right. So it's like, you know, if we want to, we know now we all know about shots in this day and age, and we know a shot goes right into the bloodstream, right? And then it affects the entire body, just like that, because the blood is pumping through the heart, going through the whole body. This has the same potency as that. And so when you're using specific herbs that are literally sovereign beings raised upon this planet that have qualities that support an easy menstrual flow, qualities that support, you're bleeding every 18 days, you're bleeding every 22 days, your uterus is tired, your uterine artery can't hold itself closed for that 28-day cycle, it's stressed, it's tired, things are going on, and it just opens up at 18 days. Well, there's herbs like yarrow, the woman's warrior herb, a nervine that can support your uterine artery in holding on a couple of more days more each month so you can repair your cycle, get back to 28 days, even if you haven't had it like that since you had your children, or since, you know, your father died, or since you went through a heartbreak 5 years ago. You know, that's the magic medicine of the yarrow flower, right? Or wow, every month you're waiting in agony for your period. It's going on day 33, 34, you know, you just so much cramps, bloating, like anxiety, you know, pain, shooting pains. Bring in mugwort, the dream herb. She's connected to the lunar cycles just like we are. You can find her in your backyard, you know, she's waiting for you, right? And bring that into your Yoni steam, and a menagog herb that helps you open up your muscles to relax so that your blood can flow. And then you get to start tuning in to the cycle of the moon so you can bleed, you know, at a 28-day cycle as well, which is what we were designed to do. So this is just an example of like two different situations of how the herbs, you know, in the Yoni steaming can support that. And we have protocols for this. As a vaginal steam therapist, you know, and I went to my to the Institute of Peristeam Hydrotherapy and became a certified vaginal steam therapist. And they teach us the protocols for short cyclers, for cysts, for fertility, for, you know, what's going on with you. Are you missing your cycle? I just worked with a woman. She didn't have her cycle for a year. And she contacted me within 4 months. She was bleeding. In 6 months, she was stable. We just went off the protocol just a couple of weeks ago. We had a celebratory call together, you know, and she is just on a maintenance Yoni steam now, because everyone should be steaming for maintenance. You know, it doesn't matter. Even if you're like, I have the perfect cycle, you've still been bleeding for many years. And if you have any brown blood in your cycle whatsoever, you know, that is an indicator that there's just some leftover blood from past cycles in your body. It hasn't been able to come out yet, you know, for whatever reason. Yoni steaming clears and cleanses the womb.
I love that. I love that. And so many questions are popping up. So I'll try to keep this concise in the, you know, essence of time. But so is there certain herbs that we should really pay attention to that are kind of, you know, herbs that many people can use, or is it all individualized based around what you're struggling with?
See, this is why I make my own blends at Sacred Lotus, Yoni Steam, because herbs are sovereign beings. They're little sprites, they're little fairy spirits, and they all have specific intentions on this planet. right? They all have specific healing powers. So if you just throw a bunch of herbs and you're like, oh, I like rose, I think lavender, maybe I'll get some of this dandelion leaf, and just,
Right.
I'm going to make a steam. I mean, I'm not saying that's dangerous. If you're using your intuition and you're connecting with herbs, may the goddess bless you in your choices. But if you're steaming for medicinal purposes, or if you desire an outcome, or if you are someone that is struggling with something, yes, the herbs that you use matter. Right? Just like I shared with mugwort and a menagogue herb, right? To open up and allow you to bleed. Yarrow, a regulatory nervine to regulate the menstrual cycle. Dandelion leaf is a detoxification, great for, viruses, great for detoxing the liver. Right? We have herbs to help you heal postpartum, right? That, will allow you to release all the excess lochia from your birth. We have herbs that support fertility, right? I have a fertility blend that I use with infertility protocols that consists some of the herbs in there. And it's not a secret, no withholding of herb knowledge,
Right.
but like nettles and red raspberry leaf and oat straw and roses, these Damiana. This is in like my special blend along with some others, motherwort, right? It's like, why nettles? It's such a nutrient rich herb. It's like every woman should be drinking nettles tea every day, especially if you want to conceive. Red raspberry leaf, tonify the uterus. Oat straw, get yourself some B vitamins in there, right? Get yourself some, relaxation. Because sometimes, when we've been desiring to be pregnant for so long, and we feel like we might be on a schedule, or we're trying all of these different things, and it's been going on and getting into our psyche, we need to relax. We need some Damiana. We need to remember that we need to be playful and have fun, and that our process is our process. Calling in that soul is a process. It's different for everybody, And so, yeah, the type of herbs that we use, and organic herbs, matter because they mass produce herbs just like they mass produce bananas.
Right.
So you don't want pesticide laden herbs that you're steaming into your yoni.
No.
Gotta go organic. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And so that leads me to my next question too. So should we be cycling our herbs based around where we're at in our cycle? Or is there certain herbs that work better during certain times? And should we be doing this every day, or is there a follicular nature to it?
Well, there is, such a thing as too much steaming. There's always too much of a good thing, right? But there's a different protocol. I go by protocols, right? So it's like, if you're someone with cysts or fibroids, or if you're somebody that's working on fertility, there's different protocols that we follow, and there's different herbs that we use for those protocols. And a protocol is a schedule, So for example, one of the key components of a fertility protocol, which, it seems obvious, but we might not connect with that initially, is, we never steam after ovulation, right? You never want to yoni steam after ovulation. But what happens for most women is they don't actually really know when they're ovulating, because we're using apps, and apps are just predicting based on, the collective culture, which is not necessarily your body. So if you're trying to get pregnant on an app, and that's why I use the word trying, it's because you might not actually really be in touch with your fertility cycle. So it doesn't matter what you're doing if you're missing your ovulation. So that's one of the things, that I'm sure that you intimately connect with women in your practice, as I do as well.
Yeah. And it just blows my mind how many women don't actually know when and if they're ovulating. They're not tracking their cycles. They don't even know. I'll say, how long is your cycle? And they'll say about 5 days. And I'm like, no, your entire cycle. I have no idea. So that's very important and good point. You definitely should know when you're ovulating. You should be tracking this. And if you're not, then we need to dig a little more and find out why. For sure. And so I wanted to talk about how intentionality and mindset plays into this. So as we're steaming, do you feel like that plays a role? Almost like we're steaming, and yes, the herbs are medicinal, and yes, they're working like medicine. But if we don't actually believe that they're going to work and do what they need to do you see a correlation there of them actually not working and doing what they need?
I mean, have you ever, not believed that you could go on the trip and then not gone on the trip?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Have you ever said, oh, I don't get to have those things. I don't have the time, the money, the abundance, the patience, the support, the this, that, and then not get those things?
Mm-hmm. I'm a big fan of mindset. So that's why I asked that question.
So yes, absolutely. One of the things that calls to me so much through this practice of Yoni steaming, is that we're using all of the elements, right? We've got, earth with the herbs, fire to heat the water, to go into the air, the steam, right? To bring the medicine into the steam. But the fifth element too, our heart, our intention. Mm-hmm. So when you're making your Yoni steam, when your witch's brew is like brewing, you're brewing your witch's brew in your cauldron and putting in your herbs and soaking the herbs and allowing the aromatic essence to permeate your space. You're putting your candles in, strategic places, calling out your crystals, creating your sanctuary space, because this act, this self-help, self-love act, is an act of reverence to our womb, to the goddess within, to the priestess, to the medicine woman, to the honor and humble respect for divine mother and all of creation. Wow, I get to be here, right? Connecting with these sovereign magic spirits to heal my body. We must go in with that knowledge and that desire to release what does not serve. That's, this is such a high calling, right? Like, I don't want to carry that anymore. I'm ready to unpack. I'm ready to lay down my sword. I'm ready to surrender to the feminine creative flow of all there is. I'm here for it. What now? What next? If not me, then who? And, bring your journal, bring your deepest dreams and highest intentions to the Yoni steam stool. And when you're steaming and you have that intention, allow yourself to go through that process of release. Maybe crying is going to happen. Maybe ecstatic joy of remembrance that we're eternal beings and we don't have to carry other people's crap with us. We don't have to listen to negative self-talk in our heads. Like, we can abolish that, and it comes through quiet connection with ourselves. Yoni steaming is a meditation. It's time alone with ourselves that is sacred. And that's when we're doing that spiritual work, reflecting on the day or on our life or like our relationships, and giving it back to the mother. And I always envision, that I'm giving it back to the mother. This energy is flowing out of me, whatever it needs to leave. And the mother is just taking it. She's drawing it into the earth, and she's transmuting that energy and growing flowers somewhere. So I can walk into a flower field one day and be like, oh, that was my anger.
Right.
There it is. Repurposed. Yep. Energy is only transmuted. It is never deleted. You can't delete energy from the field. You have to figure out a way to transmute it. And so by bringing it to the Yoni steam stool, to the seat, to the throne, and going through that spiritual process with yourself and the plants, calling in that spirit child, believing that you're valuable, that you're worthy, that you're worth it. Your body isn't broken, that there's just a lesson here. There's something more. Calling in that divine partnership. I'm worthy of a partner that sees me for who I am. And I'm doing the work first by giving the love to myself first. And that's how I'm going to be on the frequency that to attract whomever, wherever they are.
I love that. Oh, amazing. I could talk about this all day, but we do have to take a break. So we're going to come right back. We're going to hear a word from our sponsors. When we come back, we're going to talk more practical steps, things we can do to optimize our fertility. And then I really want to get into practicality of the Yoni Steam. Is there you're talking about a stool? Do we need that? Kind of some of those nitty gritties. So we'll do that and more when we come back.
Hey y'all, it's Coach Kayla here. I hope you are loving this episode as much as I am. We will be back in just a minute, but first, a word from our sponsors. This episode is brought to you by the Hormone P.U.Z.Z.L.E Society, a women's health hub for fertility, hormones, and the business of coaching. Whether you're struggling to get pregnant with pesky hormone symptoms, or you're working to build a career in the fertility and women's health space, we have you covered. Visit our website at www.coachkayla.com to learn more on how we can help you. Text the keyword fertility to 615-257-8855 for your free fertility meal plan.
Hey, Sabrina, welcome back.
Aloha. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So now let's talk more practical tips. Maybe your top 4 to 5 things that we can start doing, to optimize our fertility. Definitely bringing in the Yoni Steams.
Okay. So when we're talking fertility, I want to bring it to that first place is that mindset, because the energy in our body is the energy that we're putting out there. Right. So what do they say? Your vibe attracts your tribe. The energy that you put out is what you get back, so we have to go into, a lot of women contact me and they say, I don't care, I just really want to try. I mean, we'd really like to have a baby, but I'm not trying to get my hopes up. Maybe I'm crazy. Doctors say it's impossible, but just thought I'd give this Yoni Steaming thing a go. No big deal. It's like, no, you want that baby and you got to go all in, and be prepared for heartbreak, right? Instead of like, oh, I guess that was, it just didn't happen. Right. It's like, no, like that's the number one thing. It's like when I write a fertility protocol for somebody and it's 9 pages and they come back and they're like, do I have to do all of this? And it's like, no, you don't have to do anything. How bad do you want what you want? So that's the first question. How bad do you want what you want? And are you willing to face heartbreak instead of just being ambiguous, and instead of being like so on the fence, like so that you just don't get hurt if it doesn't happen, right? So going all in, 111, no matter what happens, and just knowing that whatever happens, you're going to face it and it's going to be blessed, whatever it is, right?
For sure.
Second thing is what's going on with your minerals, with your blood, with your hormones, right? Get your blood work done, meet with a clinical herbalist. That's why in my practice, when I do fertility counseling, part of that includes a clinical herbalist who happens to be my blood sister. It's a very divine relationship. She's a very talented herbalist, but she knows things that I don't. I'm womb centric. She's looking at your blood saying, wow, like you've got some off levels here that might not have been clued in by, allopathic medicine. You need to take some supplements, or you need to add these foods into your diet, right? Or you need to take this stuff out. Right? This stuff got to go for now, and so really coming into alignment inside of your body 360 degrees, because we're taught in this world, it's like, oh, my arm hurts, like, let me cut it off and that should fix the problem. Well, no, actually the back was the problem,
right?
But now you can have an arm. So it's like we can go for womb healing all day, and for some women that will be enough, but for some it won't. So you got to look at fertility from that 360 perspective. Where's my mind? Where's my body? Where's my overall health? How's my blood doing? How are all my nutrient levels? Where are my hormones at? Where's my endocrine system at? You know,
Right.
Sometimes all it takes is just this little tweak, like, oh, just that little thing is off, got to do some seed cycling to balance our hormones. Very simple thing. I recommend this to all my fertility clients. It's called seed cycling. It's an ancient tradition. For 1/2 the month, you have sesame and sunflower seeds and ground up in a smoothie or in a salad or something like that. In the other half of the month, you have pumpkin seeds and flax seeds. Thank you. Thank you. Flax seeds, right? And that's ground up exactly like that. And so, just that simple thing of doing that, have had so much beautiful results with clients that are just getting their levels on point. And the other part about this is Yoni steaming in our specific fertility protocol. And, there's a few different aspects to this protocol, but we only steam with specific herbs. I named some of them in the first half. Part of the blend that I use is with nettles and red raspberry leaf and oat straw, right? But it also depends on your body. If you have excess heat in your body, or if you have fibroids, or, if you have a short cycle, your blend is going to be different. So there's master herbs that we put in the groups, but really it's about tuning into your individual body and seeing what you need specifically. Right. And then we go through different things like cycles of making love and how your partner can also be a part of the journey, because guess what? It's not all you. It's not only you. Right. And, one of the things that I recommend that I think every woman should know is that if you're on a fertility journey and you've been feeling unsuccessful, has your partner tested their sperm? It's not only, it's a two to tango here. Right. And so there's different, aspects of that, and sacred foods for male and female fertility. And and then Yoni steaming on specific days of the month that are going to support your optimum fertility and your healthiest, ovulation and pinpointing lovemaking at the correct timing, so that a sperm doesn't have to live for 72 hours in order to find your golden egg. Right.
For sure. I love that. And we're a big fan of seed cycling over here, cycle syncing, all of it. So I love that. And definitely, it takes two to tango. And I can't tell you how many clients I talk to where only the woman is trying to optimize and the male is just doing his own thing, eating junk and not meditating. And I'm like, come on now. So I love that you mentioned that.
Yeah. Absolutely. I have many powerful stories of what happens when the man, we're in this gender specific world right now, but when the sacred masculine part of that coupling, once they get on board, what the incredible shifts that happen when you wake up to being a team together instead of it being all your responsibility, and you waking up in the middle of the night sweating and anxiety, and and that creates isolation, right? So it's like one of the things that we do is bring the couples together, right? This is the two of you. It's not just her. And like, how can the masculine participate in this unfolding and in the journey, because that supports your adrenaline and cortisol levels going down, because adrenaline and cortisol infused in the body with all this anxiety and planning and scheduling and freaking out is an inhospitable place for a spirit baby to come through. We need to be in that oxytocin place. We need to be in that lovey, feminine creation place. And so how do we do that? Right? That's part of it. It's not just all medicine. It's not just all a shot and that's it. Right? That's where the magic comes in. That's where the spirit comes in. So it's all a part of the process that I support women in, as I'm sure you do as well.
For sure. For sure. And so we do have to close out soon, but I would love to know, do we need any special equipment? Do we need the Yoni stool? What do we need to put this practice into place?
Yoni steaming is an incredible ritual. You can do it anytime, anywhere with just a bowl and steaming water and herbs, right? But if you have cysts or fibroids, or if you have an extremely stagnant period, or if your period is missing, or if you're a number of different other specific imbalances, then we do recommend getting a Yoni steam thrown so that you can use a crock pot, a mini crock pot, or an electric burner, because you're going to need that continuous steam. You're going to need that continuous heat, right? So you can get or build, a beautiful box and put your steaming bowl of herbs inside of it, and it'll be very nice and ritualistic and medicinal. But if you're really looking to heal specific imbalances, speak with a practitioner. There's Yoni steam practitioners everywhere. I'm one of them. Feel free to contact me, but also just know that there's ones in your area around as well that are looking to support you, and find out what's going on. Do a menstrual analysis with somebody, myself or someone else, and find out what's going on in your cycle so that you can go on the path to healing and know exactly what you need in order for that. But whether you steam with fresh herbs or dried herbs, and whatever the schedule is, that just know that it takes commitment and it takes a few months, right? It's not a one-shot stop. Like, it's definitely not like, a pharmaculture healing process. We'd say our protocols take 3 to 6 months, to see results, because we're working with herbs and it's natural and it's slow, and you have to, be in the healing space as well.
Oh, I love that. Oh, well, Sabrina, I could talk to you all day, but we do have to close out. Tell us where we can find you and learn more about working with you.
Okay, so you can find me on Instagram at Sacred Lotus Yoni Steam. And that's also my website. So sacredlotusyonisteam.com. I'm also on Facebook, just not as active on there. And you can always send me an email through my website at sacredlotusyoni@gmail, or send me a DM straight from Instagram or Facebook, and let me know how I can support you or what's going on.
I love it. And we'll have all that in the show notes. It'll be really easy to find you. And before we close out, any final thoughts, any words of encouragement or wisdom you want to leave us with?
Yes, this is what's been alive for me lately. You are worthy of your dreams.
Yeah. I love that. Beautiful. Yeah. Oh, well, thank you again. Amazing. I mean, this has been such a great show. Thank you for being here.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks for having me. And thank you for all the incredible work that you're doing with women and the world. And may many happy babies bless your space.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you, ladies, for listening to the Hormone Puzzle Podcast. Until next time. Bye. Hey, hang on just 1 second before you go. I want to make sure that you are aware of all of the amazing free resources that I have for you on my website at CoachKayla.com. From a fertility meal plan, a cycle syncing quick start guide, a holistic healing cookbook, as well as master classes, blog posts by me and some amazing experts in the fields of fertility, hormones, and nutrition. So many wonderful resources that will help you on your journey. And I wish there had been something like this when I was going through my 2 years of infertility, but there just wasn't. And so that's why I decided to create all of this for you. So make sure that you go and check it out and you take advantage of this plethora of support that I have provided for you. And spoiler alert, these were some of the same tricks and the same foods that I used to get myself pregnant, not once, but twice, even after my doctors said that I couldn't. So I know that these things work. So make sure you take advantage of that. And I cannot wait for you to be my next success story.
So thanks, love. See you soon. Thanks for tuning in today to the Hormone Puzzle Podcast. Check out the show notes for today's episode at CoachKayla.com. If you like what you hear, please subscribe and leave a review. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you next week.